出你们是我的门徒了。
我们这个礼拜要背诵的经文就是约翰福音13章34跟35节，让我们一起来读这个经文。
我赐给你们一条新命令，乃是叫你们彼此相爱。我怎样爱你们，你们也要怎样相爱。你们若有彼此相爱的心，众人因此就认出你们是我的门徒了。
约翰福音13章34、35节。好，我们请 Rev.Alfredo 上来为我们证道。
OK。Here's the whole part.
Here. Is this right or does it look weird? Did I put this properly? Okay. You're going to be so far away from me, Hank? I'm scared.
You want to see the screen? Block the screen.
That's true. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you glad you're in church this morning?
Yes.
早上大家来聚会。
It's good to be in church, amen?
Yes, amen.
来到教会。
Well, it's been good to be here and to be able to share with you.
很高兴能够来到这边跟大家分享。
My heart has been with you in what you have been going through.
我们所经过的事情，我知道在我的心里时常纪念，
And you have been in our prayers.
也常常在祷告中纪念你们。
I will have an opportunity later on to address some of your concerns.
也许等一下，这个信息完了之后，有一点时间可以谈论一下。
I'm blessed to have my bride of 33 years with me today.
很高兴我的新婚33年的妻子跟我在一起。
We actually celebrated 33 years of marriage on Friday.
上个礼拜我们庆祝33周年的结婚纪念。
I married when she was very young.
结婚的时候她很年轻。
It's been a blessing to be in partners in ministry as well as in life.
所以很感谢神能够一起服侍，而且是生命中的伙伴。
Our passage this morning
我们今天早上的所用的经文，
John 13
约翰福音13章
is the focus of our conversation.
是我们今天我们要谈论的中心。
So I'm going to ask you to have your Bible available.
所以你有圣经的话，请你翻开。
So I will seek to refer to it
因为要找
as
参
we
照一些其他的经文，
seek to hear from the Lord.
我们在这边寻求主的面。
So if I may, let me pray once more.
所以容许我再做一个祷告。
Lord, glorify yourself in our midst.
亲爱的主，我们知道你在我们中间，
Give us clarity of mind and heart,
给我们一个明亮的心，还有我们的灵，
not only to be hearers of the words,
不但能够听见你说的话，
but also doers.
而且我们也能够做行出来。
In Jesus' name,
奉主耶稣基督的名祷告。
it is amazing to me that the church, as Christ has instituted it, even works.
实在是很奇妙，在我想象中，神所设立的教会居然还能够这样的运作。
Have you ever thought about that?
你有没有想过？
People from different cultural backgrounds, social positions, personality traits, together with the purpose of worshiping God as one body, living out His love in the presence of a hostile world.
我们来自不同的文化背景，或者是社会的地位，还有我们个人的习性，我们聚在一起，我们为了是要在这一个 敌视、仇视我们的这个世界中，我们活出来敬拜他，彰显他的爱。
It has to be supernatural.
一定，这绝对是超自然的。
We in turn try to come together around a common vision, a mission statement, or a mindset which doesn't always work.
我们聚在是试着要有一样的意向、一样的宗旨，甚至我们同样的心智，可是常常有的时候行不通。
Many things get in the way.
很多事情在我们中间搅扰我们，
Immaturity,
在邻里不成熟，
personal filters,
个人的见解，
past hurts,
过去的伤痛，
non-understood motivations or intentions.
或者不能被人了解、不明白的动机。
Now Jesus comes along and calls us to himself under a different set of circumstances, then makes us part of his family and commissions us to live and serve together.
然后耶稣来了，他就呼召我们到他面前，在一个不同的环境中，然后我们成为他的他的这个家庭的一份子，而且任命我们要活出他的样子，而且要来服侍彼此服侍。
So he gives us a new command.
所以他是给我们一个命令。
There's a new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another.
所以他说：“我给你们一条新命令，乃是叫你们彼此相爱。我怎样爱你们，你们也要怎样相爱。你们若有彼此相爱的心，众人因此就认出你们是我的门徒。”
Now, this passage or these verses are part of a set of characteristics Jesus outlined for his followers.
所以这一段经文是耶稣为他的门徒所跟随他的人所定的一个个性，一个要遵守的。
Let me give you 4 of them.
我给你一些例子。
John 8:31-32 says,
约翰福音8章31、32、32节说
a disciple abides in my word. He says in that verse, go ahead, I'm sorry.
他说门徒就要遵守我的道。
He says, if you abide in my word, you are truly my disciple, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
你们若常常遵守我的道，就真是我的门徒。你们必晓得真理，真理必叫你们得以自由。
A second characteristic is John 13. We've read it. Love one
刚
another.
才第二个品格就是我们刚才读的
Please.
约翰福音13章34到35节，
Get it?
要你们得到。
He's saying, if you love one another as I have loved you, the world will know that you are my disciples.
他说我爱你，如果你们彼此相爱，全世界的人都知道你们是我的门徒。
John 15:8 he gives us a third characteristic.
所以约翰福音15章第8节是第三个品格。
A disciple will bear much fruit.
我的门徒就要多结果子。
In Matthew 16, he tells them, in the context of following him, you have to count the cost.
所以马太福音16章24节说，如果你们要跟随我的话，你一定要计算你的代价。
If anyone wants to be my disciple,
若有人要跟从我，
he must deny himself,
就当舍己，
take up his cross,
背起他的十字架
and follow me.
来跟从我。
What in the world?
到底是怎么回事？
I think somehow the church understands that in coming to Christ and then forgets about it and living for him.
所以教会知道我们要来跟从主，可是来到教会之后，这些事情就忘记了。
What happens is when conflict arises,
就是当这个冲突发生的时候，
we don't have the proper template to face it, and we revert to our old self of dealing with conflict.
当冲突来的时候，我们没有一个合适的榜样来面对这个冲突， 所以我们就回到我们的老样子，自己来想办法解决。
This is why Christ calls us to a higher form of governing
所以
ourselves.
这就是为什么基督要我们来一个更高的层次，怎么样来管理我们自己。
One that requires His supernatural touch.
要有他超自然的带领，
It will always point to Him,
这一个带领就永远
not to us.
指向耶稣，而不是关注我们自己。
So the question is before us,
所以我们要问自己一个问题：
what will others say about us as they see our behavior?
当别人看到我们的行为的时候，会怎么说？
Christ's hope
基督是希望
that they may say they are His disciples.
他会希望别人看到我们的所说，哦，那些人是基督的门徒。
So let's look at some principles that will guide us, even in the worst of times, so we can continue to be a witness of Christ's love.
所以让我们来看一些原则，能够指引我们，即使在最糟糕的时候，我们还是能继续为基督的爱做见证。
3 principles
3个原则，
based on this passage.
根据这一
Number 1.
段经文有3个重点。
Our love for one another brings glory to God.
我们彼此的相爱是要来荣耀神。
See, Jesus in this chapter puts this whole thing into perspective for us.
所以耶稣基督在约翰福音13章把这个整个的这个图画显现给我们看。
If you read the passage,
如果你读了那一段经文的话，
Jesus comes in,
耶稣进来，
He's preparing them for the crucifixion,
他预备他自己要被钉十字架，
and He begins by humbling Himself.
他开始就谦卑他自己，
It tells us that He took off His outer garment,
他就把他外衣脱下，
and He got a basin with water,
他拿一个衣服束腰，
and began to wash all of their feet.
然后开始洗每个人的脚。
Verse 5.
第5节告诉我们，
He washed all of their feet.
他洗了每一个门徒的脚。
But then he gets to verse 31, he tells them, just like you saw me do, I want you to do. 31. I'm 14, I'm sorry.
所以在第14节的时候，他说：“你们看到我这样做，你们也应该彼此互相做。”
I'll talk a little bit later about Judas's response and Peter's.
等一下再讲犹大跟这个彼得的反应。
But for now, he is demonstrating
但是他现在是在示范，
as the master,
他是主人，
the one to whom we show allegiance,
他是我们向他要效忠的，
whose behavior we should emulate.
我们应该效法他的行为，效法他当我们的模样。
I will serve you.
我要服侍你。
I want you to look at each other.
看彼此互相看一下，
Would you wash their feet?
你会不会替他洗脚？
Hmm? Finally, in verse 31, he gives them a new command.
所以到了31节，他就给他们一条新命令，
It's for the glory of God.
为的是荣耀神，
He is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords.
是万王之王，万主之主，
For the glory of God,
为了荣耀，为了神的荣耀，
humbles himself.
他谦卑他自己，
Even going to the cross was about the glory of God.
甚至他上十字架也是为了神的荣耀。
Yes, he had you in mind.
Yes，
He had you in mind.
你们都在他的纪念当中，
He had me in mind.
他也纪念我。
But ultimately,
但是最终，
it was about the glory of God.
但是最终是为了神的荣耀。
That's why at Gethsemane he says, not my will, but your will, Lord.
所以他在克西马尼园说：“不照我的意思，照你的意思。”
somewhere in North America, I'm going to limit myself to North America.
所以在北美，不管什么地方，
We have hijacked the church from Christ.
我们把教会从这个耶稣基督的手中夺出来。
And we want to make it about our likes and our dislikes.
我们要说我们什么喜欢什么，不喜欢什么。
And we have lost sight of the glory of God.
我们忘记了神的荣耀，
He doesn't share his glory with anyone.
他不跟任何人分享他的荣耀。
So you have Judas here who had his own agenda and wanted no part of the cross.
所以在这里我们看到犹大他有他自己的想法，所以他不愿意跟这个十字架有任何的关系。
If it was up to Judas, they would have done things differently.
如果是照着犹大的想法，他们做事情的方式就不一样。
History tells us that Judas was probably a nationalist.
所以根据历史，我们可以知道，想象，犹大可能是一个民族主义者，
He wanted to fight.
他要争抗，
He wanted to overthrow.
他要推翻，
Cross? No
他
cross.
不是要推翻死架。
He saw Jesus raise people from the dead.
他看到耶稣基督使死人复活，
He saw them heal the blind, the deaf, the mute.
他看到耶稣医治瞎子聋子，
He saw him feed multitudes.
他看到他喂饱了上千的人。
No cross.
不要十字架。
Jesus said, "You have no part of it."
耶稣说：“那你与我无关，与我无分。”
It's about His glory,
是为了神的荣耀，
not our personal agenda.
不是我们个人的想法。
On the other hand, Peter did not understand the full implications of what Christ was showing them and needed only clarity.
所以彼得在那时候是完全不明白耶稣的意图，所以他需要耶稣给他更多的指示，让他能够更清楚明白。
Don't wash my feet.
彼得说：“你不可以洗我的脚，
No. You're the Messiah.
你是弥赛亚。”
He understood the pecking order. He understood the right channel of commands.
他明白这个上下有序的这个秩序，他是明白。
He wanted a parking space just for Jesus.
他要在为耶稣有一个停车位。
See, Peter needed to understand the bigger picture.
所以彼得需要明白这个大的图画。
I have to go to the cross.
耶稣说：“我必须要上十架。
The enemy has a plan, a scheme.
仇敌有一个计划，
The Father has his own plan.
但是天父有他自己的计划。
Peter needed to embrace Christ's agenda.
彼得应该来拥抱耶稣基督的计划。
No, don't wash my feet.
彼得说：“你永远不可以洗我的脚。”
So Jesus in verse 8 tells him, if I do not wash you, you have no share with me.
所以耶稣在第8节说：“如果我不洗你的脚，你就与我无分。”
Wash me from head to bottom,
为每个人洗，
from head to toes.
要洗从头到脚。
So Jesus, no need.
也说不需要从头洗到脚，
You're already washed.
你已经被洗过，
Just clean your feet.
就只要洗脚就可以。
Why do you come to church?
你为什么到教会来？
Why did he establish the church?
为什么耶稣基督要建立教会？
Why do we do what we do
我们为什么在这里做的事情？
in church
在教会，
and as the church?
我们就是教会。
I want to share with you some principles that I pray will set a foundation for us moving forward.
我 在这边希望介绍几个原则给你们，是成为我们向前进的一个基础。
It's called the Peacemaker's Pledge.
叫做使人和睦者的誓言，
And it is with the sole purpose
是为了唯一的目的，唯一的目的
of navigating even through conflict.
是要带领我们，给我们指引，甚至在冲突当中，
In a way that respects others,
我们要彼此尊敬，
honors God,
而且要荣耀神，
and values
让
the
神的
contributions of others in our lives.
神在我们生命中所做的，我们要遵守它。
So here's the pledge. Did you write it down also so that I can? Okay, I'll read it in English and then you go. Emmanuel. As a people reconciled to God by the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, we believe we are called to respond to conflict in a way that is remarkably different from the way the world deals with conflict. We also believe that conflict provides opportunities to glorify God, serve other people, and grow to be like Christ. Therefore, in response to God's love and in reliance on His grace, we commit ourselves to responding to conflict according to the following principles.
OK， 我们这些因着耶稣基督的死与复活而与神和好的人，在面对冲突时，处理的方式应该是与世界的方式大大的不同。我们也相信冲突带给我们荣耀神、服侍他人，而且成长成更像基督的机会。所以靠着神的恩典来回应神的爱，我们决定依照以下的原则来处理冲突。
So the four principles are glorify God,
所以四个原则是：
get the log out of your eye,
荣耀神，除去你眼中的梁木，
gently restore,
用温柔的心来挽回，
and go and be reconciled.
主动去和解。
So in the context of our first major principle is to glorify God, here's what it means.
所以第一点，这个荣耀神是这样的意思。
Instead of focusing on our own desires of dwelling on what others may do, we will rejoice in the Lord and bring Him praise by depending on His forgiveness, wisdom, power, and love as we seek to faithfully obey His commands and maintain a loving, merciful, and forgiving attitude.
我们不要专注于我们自己的欲望，或光想别人会怎么做。当我们追求忠实的服侍他的命令，并带着爱心、怜悯和宽容的态度的时候，我们就应该在主里喜乐，因他的宽恕、智慧、力量和爱心称颂他。
So Jesus established that those who are going to be His followers
所以耶稣告诉我们说，如果我们要成为他的门徒，
would be characterized by
我们的品格应该有这样的品格，
a love for one another.
应该彼此相爱。
Second principle,
第二个原因，
our love for one another is a command.
彼此相爱是一个命令。
Isn't it interesting that He says, a new commandment I give you?
比如说，我给你们一个新命令。
Now, John MacArthur, the great theologian pastor of our day,
所以在我们现在有一个很有名的牧师神学家叫 John MacArthur，
he makes this comment about this idea.
他讲了有关这一个命令的这个想法。
He says the commandment of love was not new. They were commanded to love God and to love one neighbor.
他说要彼此相爱不是一个新的事情，他说你们要爱人如己，要爱你的邻舍。
He goes on to say, however, Jesus' command regarding love presented a distinctly new standard for two reasons.
说
I didn't write that in there, I'm sorry. Jesus' command regarding love presented a new standard based on 2 reasons.
耶稣给我们这个命令是根据2个原因。
Number 1, it was sacrificial love modeled after his love.
是这个爱是一个牺牲的爱，是照着耶稣的模式来做的。
And secondly, it is produced through the new covenant by the transforming power of the Holy Spirit.
这个是因为靠着新约所立的，靠着圣灵所立的新约，能够改变我们的心智。
If I resort to doing things just the way Cubans do it,
如果我做像我原来古巴人做事的习惯的话，
it's not pretty.
就不会照着圣经做。
Especially when my wife and I pastored a church of 13 different nationalities.
然后我跟我的太太在牧会的时候，我们的教会里面有13个不同国家的人。
Just passing by someone one day,
有一天经过一个人旁边的时候，
he was offended because I did not recognize him.
他被冒犯了，因为我没有跟他打招呼，我不认得他，
I said, I'm sorry.
就跟他说对不起，
It was not my intention.
我不是有意的，
So he left the church.
所以他就离开教会。
It has to be the power of the Holy Spirit in us.
必须要有圣灵的能力在我们里面。
So, as Christ modeled for us, we should treat others.
所以，耶稣基督为我们做了榜样，我们要怎么样来对待别人？
Particularly those of our family.
特别是在我们家中。
I encourage you to do this study on your own someday.
我鼓励你们哪一天自己来做这个查考，
Study the background of the apostles.
来查考这一个所有使徒的背景。
Now, the majority were fishermen.
所以大部分人他们都是渔夫，
Many things in common.
所以很多事情在他们的生活习惯上是一样的。
But tradition and history tells us that Nathaniel, also known as Bartholomew,
所以历史告诉我们，拿但业他也另外的名字叫巴多罗买，
tells us that he came from noble birth.
所以告诉我们他是出生自一个很高贵的家庭。
James the elder, a fisherman.
这个雅各这个长老他是一个渔夫，
Opposite extremes.
是完全这个社会的2个极端。
Matthew, a tax collector.
马太利未是一个税吏，
He worked for the IRS.
他给国税局做事。
Simon the zealot,
这个奋锐党的西门，
a Jewish nationalist.
他是一个爱国者，是一个。
Can you imagine the co-workers meetings?
你能不能想象他们一起聚会、开会的时候会怎么样？
A question for us to add to this
如果我们要问我们自己，会是一个什么样的问题？
is how did Christ treat his accusers, those who opposed him, the Pharisees, and how does he treat you?
所以耶稣要面对控告他的人的时候，他怎么回应那些反对他的人，还有法利赛人，还有你？
If they held on to their uniquenesses
如果照着每一个人的不同的话，
rather than on the love of Christ that compelled them,
不是耶稣基督这个强迫他们做这个事情，
they would never accomplish anything.
他们绝对不能够成就任何事情，
They could never serve
他们完全不能够服侍人，
together.
也不能够一起。
So the second principle that we look at with the peacemaker is get the log out of your eye.
所以第二个誓言就是说，除去你眼中的梁木。
Now listen to this. Instead of blaming others for a conflict or resisting correction, we will trust in God's mercy and take responsibility for our own continuation to conflicts, confessing our sins to those we have wronged, asking God to help us change any attitudes and habits that lead to conflict, and seeking to repair any harm we have caused.
我们不要责怪别人造成冲突，或者他们拒绝改正，而应该信靠上帝的怜悯，并承担我们自己持续冲突的责任，就是向我们得罪的人承认我们的罪，求上帝帮助我们改变任何导致冲突的态度和习惯，并修复我们造成的任何伤害。
If it was easy, we didn't need God. If it was easy, we did not need God.
如果这个很容易的话，我们就不需要神。
I am shocked,
我很吃惊，
time and time again,
一再的发生，
visiting our churches.
去就是探访我们区里的各个教会，
How many of us think we can do this without God?
有多少事情我们可以不靠着神而来做？
Third principle.
第三个原则，
Our love for one another is evidence of our allegiance to Christ.
我们彼此相爱是对基督尽忠的证据。
So verse 31 established for us that even Judas's departure and what he did brought glory to God.
所以照这个刚才31节讲的，即使犹大离开这个事情，也是把荣耀归给主。
But verse 34 now tells us, you have a new commandment. Love one another.
因为在他离开之前，耶稣说：“我给你一条新命令。”
So now, the last part of it says, if you do this, they will know that you are my disciples.
后面是说，如果你们彼此相爱，你们这样做的话，别人就知道你是属于我的，是跟随我的。
Note that this command is at the end of Christ's ministry, and he is preparing to go to the cross, to die, to be raised from the dead, and ascend unto heaven. After this, our behavior towards each other would be a catalyst to point others to Christ.
要知道，耶稣给的这个命令是在他的事工要最结束的时候，就是他准备去上十架，去为我们死，而且从死里复活，最后升到天上。在这个整个事情发生之后，我们之间彼此对待的关系，能够帮助别人，带领别人归向耶稣，归向基督。
So John MacArthur again says, love is to serve as the distinguishing characteristic of discipleship.
所以 John MacArthur 又说，爱是做门徒训练的最显著的特征。
So our third idea or concept is gently restore.
所以第三个誓言里面是说，用温柔的心来挽回。
Now listen, please get this. We're almost done.
Okay.
Instead of pretending that conflict doesn't exist or talking about others behind their backs, we will overlook minor offenses or we will talk personally and graciously with those whose offenses seem too serious to overlook, seeking to restore them rather than condemn them. When a conflict with a Christian brother or sister cannot be resolved in private, we will ask others in the body of Christ to help us settle the matter in a biblical manner.
Long sentence.
I'm sorry. It's this.
OK， 这第三个说，用温柔的心来挽回，不要假装冲突不存在，或在背后谈论别人。我们应该不计较轻微的罪行，否则的话，我们愿意带着恩典亲自面对那些犯了严重的罪而不应该忽视、不被忽视的人，为的是挽回他们，而不是谴责他们。当与兄弟或姐妹的冲突不能私下解决时，我们将要求基督身体中、教会中其他的人帮助我们，遵照圣经的原则来解决。
And finally, go and be reconciled.
最后要主动的去和解。
Instead of accepting premature compromise or allowing relationships to wither, we will actively pursue genuine peace and reconciliation, forgiving others as God, for Christ's sake, has forgiven us, and seeking just and mutually beneficial solutions to our differences.
不要接受过早的妥协，或者让彼此之间关系更变坏，而是要积极的追求真正的和睦与和解，要原谅别人，为我们之间的分歧寻求公正和互相有利的解决办法，因为上帝为了基督的缘故已经赦免了我们。
The church is both an amazing organism
这个教会是一个很惊人的一个机体，令人惊讶。
that Christ has created for the glory of God.
是基督建立是为了要荣耀神，
But without His supernatural enabling,
如果没有他超自然的能力，
His supernatural maintenance and sustaining it,
没有他超自然的维持和护理，
it can also be a dangerous place.
就可能是一个很危险的地方。
So my premise for us this morning has been,
所以今天早上的计划是这样，
it needs to be governed by love.
所以教会需要被爱来管理、来约束。
The characteristic in us that points to Christ.
如果我们有这个特征，就能指引别人走向基督。
Let me pray for you.
一起祷告。
Lord, help us to honor you.
神天父帮助我们，
As we move forward,
当我们继续往前的时候，
give us clarity of thought,
给我们清楚的思緒，
cleansing of heart,
洁净我们的心，
and an attitude of love.
还有有彼此相爱的态度，
As we work with each other
在我们在这里彼此服侍，
for your glory.
是为了你的荣耀，
In Jesus' name I pray.
为奉耶稣基督的名祷告。
Amen. Thank you, Brother God. I am saddened that I'm here today
今天来到这里，带着伤感，
with the news that Pastor Joshua is no longer the pastor here.
因为罗牧师不再是这个教会的牧师。
I want to just briefly give you order of events
只是要很简短的跟你们讲事情发生的经过，
Then I will meet with the co-workers this afternoon
然后今天下午会跟同工们见面，
and discuss further steps.
然后会讨论下面我们要怎么走。
But you all need to know
但是你们都需要知道，
that from the district office, we want to walk with you
从这个区会的角度来看，我们要与你们一起往前行，
during this time.
在这一段时间。
I have been aware of some of the wants and needs of your congregation.
我也明白这个弟兄姊妹们的需要跟弟兄姊妹想要的。
We were relieved when God brought Pastor Joshua and Linda to you.
所以我们也知道，神差派罗牧师到你们中间。
And even though he was a minister,
虽然他是一个服侍神，
in order to understand the Christian Missionary Alliance,
要明白宣道会的组织，
he had to go through a process of ordination.
他需要经过一个被按立的这个手续程序。
And we were hoping that he was doing it.
我们知道他希望他是这样做。
Soon after that, the opportunity to purchase a building came for you,
所以不久之后有一个机会说可以购堂，
and you wrestled with that.
所以你们 在这里为这个祷告挣扎。
I remember coming to the AT&T building.
我记得我去参观了那个上楼的 AT&T building，
We were okay. It's a lot of work.
如果是不是我们行得通？
God in His provision and His sovereignty said no.
神在他的旨意说，这个现在还不行。
And I know that Pastor Joshua wanted to pursue other options.
也知道这个罗牧师想要走其他的方向，
And you all did, is my understanding.
所以也知道你们在这个过程当中，你们也往下走了一步。
And we agreed to make an offer on a church building
你同意为这个教堂提出了提出了 offer， 就是
that valued very high.
教堂非常贵，
We offered what we could do by faith.
我们就是凭我们的信心提了这个出了价钱。
My understanding was that if that offer was not accepted, we would take that from the Lord.
所以我们也知道那个提出的价钱没有被接受，也许也是从神那里，
And that happened. It was not accepted.
所以没有被接受，
So we decided to move on.
所以我们继续往前。
You all here and us praying for you.
所以我们一起为这个事祷告。
That restlessness continued with Pastor Joshua.
所以那一个事情在罗牧师心中一直有很大的挣扎，
To the point that on an occasion,
所以到有一个事情，
I came down to meet with him
我跟他单独的见面，
and the elders, my
他
understanding,
跟理事会的见面
Peter.
，Peter 跟惠汉还有罗牧师一起见面，
And we talked
我们讨论，
and we encouraged him.
我也彼此勉励，
Encouraged him to focus on ministry.
所以鼓励他
We value him
注重在这个教会的事工上，
and we pursued that.
我们想往这个方向走。
Then there was an unfortunate incident that transpired in church
所以后来有一个不幸的事情在教会发生，
that brought a discontent
所以
to the
带来
surface.
把这个很多的不满意就浮到表面上来。
So I came again
我又来了，
with the intent of coming alongside Pastor,
意图是在牧师的身边与他同行，
encouraging him
要鼓励他，
and giving him wise counsel.
给他有智慧的辅导参详。
I told him to humble himself.
我告诉他要谦卑他自己，
I said, you need to lead in this.
说你应该在这个事上做带头的作用。
So I said, I have the authority to come in
我们可以带着权柄来到这里，
and demand that we deal with this.
我可以要求你一定要处理这个事情。
But I prefer
但是我宁可，
that you as the pastor and leader
但是你是牧师，你是领袖，
meet with your co-workers, your leaders,
跟你的同工，跟你的同工们会面，
and extend an invitation to me to come and help.
也到时候邀请我来跟你们一起。
We have a saying in English, you're still at the driver's seat. You're still at driving the bus.
你还是开车的人。
The idea was to say, Pastor, I know there's tension,
所以意思是说，牧师，
There's-
我知道你们中间有一些紧张，有一些张力，
there's hurt,
中间有彼此受伤
and。now we've gone to the area of offense.
所以我们现在到了已经冒犯。
If you focus on just the little things that are up here
所以你只关注在这里的小事情的话，
and ignore what's under here,
所以这下面广大
this will work for just a little day,
这
little
边
time.
这边只能很短很小的时候能够有起作用。
At this point, I said, Pastor, even if you don't want me to come because I've met with you several times,
所以我跟牧师说，如果这个时候 不愿意我来，我已经跟你谈过好几次。
And you may want me to be firmer or not.
你要我是更
Firmer?
要我
Stronger?
更强硬，还是不要我这么强硬？
I can invite the assistant district superintendent
我可以请这个区会的副区长
and his wife
来，他的太太，
who deal with peacemakers
所以他太太是在这边讲这个事，
so that we can humble ourselves
所以我们能够谦卑自己，
so that we can clarify with each other,
所以我们可以彼此把事情澄清，
forgive each other,
彼此饶恕，
and grow from this.
然后从这里再重新开始成长。
He said, yes, Pastor, I will do it.
他说我会去做，
A few weeks passed and I heard there was another incident.
所以隔了几个礼拜，我又听到有另外一件事情，
Another offense.
又一个冒犯，
So I had to come
所以我又必须来，
and now meet with the leadership,
所以跟同工们见面，
and then separately I met with Pastor and
然
his
后
wife,
另外我单独又跟罗姆斯见面，
and I heard both sides.
我听到双方的说辞，
It came to my understanding
我的了解是这样，
we were at an impasse.
我们在就是 impasse。
We could not move any further.
就是说双方都没有让步，没有办法再继续往前，
We needed to make some hard decisions.
必须做一些困难的决定。
We always wanted reconciliation.
我们都常常是希望能够和解，
Everyone in the co-worker group
所有同工之间
expressed their grief, their sorrow,
都表示了他们的伤痛，他们的难过，
and their willingness to work together.
他们都愿意一起来重新开始。
We had two options.
我们有两个选择，
Or the ministry would finish
在这里的事工要结束，
and we would work with pastor to place him in a different church.
我们是在这里的事工结束，我们可以把它也许安排在别的有需要的地方，
We'd protect him.
要保护他们。
The other option was to meet together
另外一个选择就是说，大家再坐下来一起，
and work out principles
把这个原则，
where we spoke to each other,
我们彼此面对面的来谈，
forgive each other,
来愿彼此饶恕，
and then make a decision as how to proceed,
然后说我们再要怎么样往前，
whether to terminate
或者是结束他在这里服侍，或者是继续同工在这里服侍。
A sister that was part of the course asked if she could come with me to be a translator for pastor.
所以在我跟罗姆斯师母见面的时候，有一个同工中间的姐妹说，我可不可以跟你一起去，因为可以做翻译。
I said, yes, you could all come.
我说你都愿意来都可以来。
Then Pastor Peter said, can I come?
所以
Yes.
Peter 说我可不可以去，所以 Peter 也去。
So we met for 3 hours.
所以我跟牧师师母，还有这个姊妹，还有 Peter 谈了3小时，
Talked about everything.
所有事情都谈。
I said, Pastor,
说牧师，
even when we are hurt,
其实我们受伤，
as the shepherd,
作为一个羊，
we humble ourselves. We humble ourselves
我们要谦卑自己，
so that we can lead in reconciliation.
所以我们可以带领怎么样来和好。
We heard
我们听到
our sister translated,
我们的姊妹翻译，
and we agreed.
我们都同意。
He actually came up with the third option,
他说可不可以有第3个选项？
and we said, I will bring that up to the team.
我说我会回去再跟大家 反映这件事
Let's
情。
pray.
那我们就祷
And
告
he。said, don't worry about me and my family, Pastor. We're okay.
你说不要为我还有我的家庭担心，没有
We
问题。
we want Christ to be honored, Pastor.
你也愿意看到神得到荣耀。
By Tuesday of that week, I think, I received a recommendation from the co-workers.
所以到那个礼拜的星期二，收到了同工会的建议，
And it's only a recommendation
只是一个建议，
with an official worker
在区会作为一个正式的工人。
A church does not hire or terminate without our directive.
所以教会不能说请或者辞任何区会的工人。
Even when it's this difficult, we want to protect both the church but also the pastor family.
虽然这是一个很困难的情况，区会的责任是保护牧师，也保护教会。
So when we get to a point where there's no reconciliation able or we can't move forward,
所以到了一个地步，双方不能够和解的时候，
the district comes in and works with the congregation to help the pastor exit with
所以
their blessing.
区会会到教会来帮助会众，还有保护这个牧师，让他能够很安安稳稳的离开。
I received the news and I said, let's be patient. Let me get down there to meet with you and leadership.
所以我收到这个建议的时候，我说让我们有一点耐心，再到你们中间，我们再坐下来谈。
I'm not sure if it was Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, but I'm thinking it was one of those days I got an email from Pastor Joshua.
所以我不知道是礼拜三、礼拜四还是礼拜五收到罗牧师一封信，
He
一
copied
篇
me.
email，
He copied me on a letter he sent out to all of the members.
他就附了一个他送给所有会众的信。
I thought he was sending it to me for approval.
我以为是他寄给我说，我同不同意他信上说的。
Before a pastor resigns, we ask for us to read it so that we can protect him from lashing out at the congregation.
所以每次牧师要离开的时候，是要经过区会的同意，免得他对会众彼此之间造成更大的伤害。
Because we understand that we get hurt.
因为我们明白人受伤的时候是怎么样。
I said, Pastor, I pray you have not sent this out to anyone.
说我祷告神，希望你这个信还没有寄出去，
Please be patient. There's a process.
就是安静忍耐等候，我们有一个程序。
I got a response.
我收到了回信，
I have to send that to everyone.
我必须把这个信送给每个人。
I will mail you my credentials.
我要把我的执照寄回给你。
I pleaded with him. No.
我向他求他说不要这样做。
I went away.
我离开了这个奥兰多佛罗里达。
I talked to him several times via email. Please,
接
Pastor.
着 email 里跟他谈了很多次，说不要不要。
No turning back.
我说我不会回头。
When I came back to the office,
当我回到办公室的时候，
pastor's credentials are there.
他的执照已经寄回到我们的办公室。
So before I answered a second email addressing 3 concerns that he had,
所以在我回他第2封 email 的时候，我讲了3个我的考量的事情。
the assistant district superintendent, the assistant superintendent
就是区会的副区长
said, pray,
说你要祷告，
call him on the phone.
跟他打电话给他。
If he doesn't pick up, leave a message
如果他不接电话，留一
so he
个
knows the
留言，
intentions of your heart.
所以他知道你心里想什么。
So I prayed.
所以我祷告，
I waited
我等
a whole week.
了1个礼拜。
And eventually I called him.
所以最后我打电话给
And he answered.
他，他接了电话，
Amen. So I said, Pastor, good
说
morning.
牧师早，
How are you, Pastor? I want to speak with you.
我要跟
When
你
can I meet with you?
的话，我可不可以跟你见面？
He said, Pastor, I am in a meeting right now.
他说现在正在开会，
I will call you back.
会打电话给你，
He never called back.
他再也没有打给我。
So I sent him the following email.
所以
This is why I wanted to talk to you.
所以我就写了一封 email 给他说，这是我要跟你讨论的事情。
So unfortunately,
很不幸的是，
Pastor preempted. Pastor was impulsive.
所以牧师很冲动的做了这件事情。
We have another saying. Took my legs from him, cut it from him. So I could not meet with him. I could not come here. I could not work with him in the leadership and a reconciliation.
所以好像把我的腿砍断，没有办法来见他，没有办法来跟同工们见面，来再谈这个和好的事情。
Now, in full disclosure,
所以要结束的时候，
someone in the co-workers meeting
所以在这个总工会中间
called Pastor
打电话给牧师，
and told him
告诉他
what the recommendation was to the district office.
总工会的决议建议是什么。
So he assumed
所以他假设，他以
that that
为
was it.
他以为这就是结束。
That's why I kept asking, Pastor, it's not done. Let's work.
所以我跟他
Let's
说
talk.，
我说这事情还没有结束，要慢慢的，
It's a recommendation.
只是一个建议。
The ultimate decision falls with the
最
superintendent.
终的决定是在区会，在区会里面要做决定。
Because even if there was wrongdoing from this end,
所以即使是这一端的这一头人做的错事，
I was never able to address it
我也没有办法来
because he pulled out.
因为他已经离开了。
So you need to know
所以你们需要明白，
that he was not fired.
他不是被解雇，
He was not pressured to leave.
他也没有受到压力说他要离开。
It could have happened, but that was not the intention.
也许会发生，但绝对不是原来的意思，
So Pastor resigned.
所以他就辞职。
I'm still trying to connect with him and Lydia.
还是试着要跟他联系，
I've told him,
告诉他，
my wife and I want to meet with you, to
说我
love
跟
you.
我太太要跟你见面。
So in that final email, he stated that some people had come to meet at his house.
所以他最后一个 email 告诉我们说，有些人在他家跟他一起聚会。
I said, Pastor, do not have people in your house.
我跟他说，罗牧师，不要请人到你家里去。
If you do so,
如果你这样做的话，
you are stepping over.
就超过线，
That's an issue of discipline.
那个就变成一个要这个
He responded, it's for my family. I can't help if people come.
需要就是惩戒的事情。他说对不起，我不能禁止别人不到我家里来。
Well, I said, Pastor,
跟他说我是
I am not telling you you cannot meet with your family.
就是说不能跟你的家人见面，
I am just telling you, do not encourage anyone to come to your
说
house.
只是不要鼓励别人到你家里去。
If someone wants to leave,
我们要离开，
there is a process to follow.
就是还是有一个程序要
So they
照
leave in peace.
所以可以平安安的。
And that's where we're at.
我们现在就是在这个光景下。
and moving forward,
我们继续再接下去，
we need to be able to address any hurts,
我们必须要来想办法怎么样
hard
疗愈
feelings,
上
hard feelings,
我们的彼此的
offenses
我们的彼此的冒犯，
that you may have among each other.
所以中间有这些情形。
We may even open it up for anyone that wants to be restored.
也许这边有任何人觉得受了伤害，需要被恢复，可以。
Anyone that has left or leaves, if they want to come back, there will be a process to follow.
所以有些人已经离开了，他如果想要回来，还是有一个程序需要经过。
I told this to Pastor.
我告诉罗牧师，
I'll tell you this,
我也告诉你，
and I told this to the co-workers.
告诉说，
The one person that we don't want to leave is the Holy Spirit.
唯一不愿意离开的是圣灵的唯一，
So I plead with you,
所以我在这里向你祈求，
let's go the extra mile.
所以我们多走那一里路。
We will have time and opportunity for you to speak your heart, your
给
pain,
你时间有机会
your frustration,
心里的话，你的这个挫折，
so that we can move forward.
所以我们可以一起往前。
I know this is not happy news.
知道这不是一个高兴的消息，
It's unfortunate, a reality that I see too often.
但是是很不幸的是，我在许多教会看到类似的情形，
So I want to encourage you.
所以我要勉励大家。
I am in communication with the Chinese Association.
所以我在跟华联会联系，
I have Pastor Joseph Wong at my disposal to come and help us so that he
这
can.
个Joseph 王在奥兰多，
We have Pastor Stephen Shaw
这个邵牧师在
from Tampa. We have Pastor David King from Fort Myers and even Tayet Moore
在 Fort Myers 有这个金牧师
that can help us
可以帮助，
and explain to me, someone who's not from the culture, the sensitivities so that we can help him.
所以有一些他们都是了解中文，他们是中国人，可以帮助我了解这个不同的文化背景。
What we do now will either strengthen us or break us.
所以现在我们做的是，是要更坚固呢，还是什么是使我们完全破碎？